Hi, welcome to my space. I am Katie TT, and today I'm going to be sharing a little bit with you about what I'm doing in Soul Sanctuary, and that is about giving life to your soul aligned healing space. Now, what is a healing space? It's not necessarily a traditional healing space. You don't have to be a healer to work with me or to consume my content, although healer types are often attracted to my work. Your healing space could comprise of a retreat space or a healing space. It could also comprise of a workspace with a desk, a computer. It could even be your bedroom. It could even be a corporate space, depending on how you work and what your goals and motivations are. Now, my audience that I work with is typically neurodivergent, identifies as highly sensitive, and I often work with women and those who identify with feminine, with the feminine traits. So one thing that I often say is transform your environments, transform your life. And that is because over the course of my life, I have discovered and I have witnessed for myself and with others the power that space has on changing ourselves and in changing our lives. And so that's one of the reasons why many years ago I chose interior design and then personal development as spaces that I wanted to support the world from. And it's why I am here as a driving force. As a highly sensitive person or neurodivergent person, I know I don't have to tell you how much environments can impact us when it comes to sensory things, functionality, etc. And it really is a driving force for me, and it has been over the course of many years. So I'm excited to share with you a little bit more about why I'm here, what I'm doing, and how you can continue to hear from me. All right, so brief contents. We'll go over, is your space supporting you? The cost of misaligned spaces, the 5-phase soul sanctuary process, which is my program, and phase 1, awaken your space. Phase 2, repattern and release. Phase 3, activate flow. Phase 4, design your space. Phase 5, sustain and expand. And what you can expect, the type of results. And if you're ready and excited to dive into your healing space, book an audit with me. Now, a quick, helpful quote that I love from Dr. Elaine Aron, who, if you're familiar, she wrote the book The Highly Sensitive Person. She is a brilliant emotional leader in the space. And if you resonate with being emotional, highly sensitive, or even neurodivergent, the following may resonate with you. And I quote her here: people with a highly sensitive temperament and trait have something I call emotional leadership, because highly sensitive people cry before other people, we get mad before other people. We are generally more emotionally affected than those without the trait. Highly sensitive, know that to be true. Okay. So let's talk about the problem. This is a problem that I've seen so many times in the course of my career and business, is that too many sensitive people who are purpose-driven entrepreneurs, often solopreneurs, work in environments that drain instead of fuel them, or they're just not quite it. They're not quite authentic to them. And that can be incredibly frustrating for someone who's highly sensitive, neurodivergent, etc. And that is because so many of us pick up on inauthenticity, especially when it comes to our spaces and within ourselves as well. When something doesn't sit right, you know it right away. So this is how you embody your space, vision, create, and grow. The cost of misaligned spaces can be great, and I actually should have put a plural costs in here because there are many, and I'm just going to list a few here. But these are some of the biggest ones that I hear from people and that I've experienced myself in the past as well. Clutter and stress can just lead throughout your life and your business and your career. And I know, again, you being a neurodivergent, sensitive person, likely, witnessing this presentation right now, I don't have to tell you that, I know you know. Creative resistance, that can often come up when we feel blocked in our space, when we got distractions, when we have our to-do lists, whether they are literal to-do lists or whether they are just the piles of clothing or papers that are in our corners, that can be incredibly distracting and cause resistance. If you are a solopreneur, which you again probably, it doesn't have to be a solopreneur watching this program, you might find again that you're frustrated with the inauthenticity of your space, that there's some disconnection from your brand identity through your space. Maybe everything else is working, but the space isn't quite there yet, isn't quite it, doesn't have that it factor. And then also another big one is that spaces that ignore your nervous system needs hold you back. So if there are even micro, things in your space that are triggering your nervous system, it can also hold you up. It can also be incredibly distracting and triggering, even for certain folks. And this is really individual too. I will say that we talk about trauma. Trauma is a big buzzword right now, but it's actually incredibly important that we don't treat it like a trend in our society. It's something that we really need to be taking seriously for the long term, because it really messes with people's ability to grow. And oftentimes so much of the work is overcoming trauma and triggers. So what I will say about that is that it's more than a trend to me. It's much more than a trend. It's a long-term thing to challenge and to move through. And it's very important that we tackle these needs in spaces because they can hold us back in so many ways. It's very individual too, very individual. There's some like overarching themes that many people, collectively have, but then individuals have very specific needs. So this is why this Done For You, or Done With You program rather, that I've been speaking about is really individualistic. It needs to be. So that is one of the reasons we'll be going there. So speaking of trauma, the 5-phase soul sanctuary process is a trauma-informed Done With You framework for transforming your workspace into a sanctuary that heals, inspires, attracts aligned clients. Now, that is important that it's done with you, and I'm going to explain why that is done with you. The reason I'm doing it this way, because I've worked so many different ways in the course of my career. I really enjoy and find the most powerful results in working with people who really enjoy to learn and expand and who want to be part of the design process, fully involved. Some of the most effective clients that I've worked with wanted to be fully involved, wanted to even learn some of the design process themselves. And so I've become very interested in working with people who are interested in the process, who want to learn about the process, who want to see how changing their space with my support can not only change their space and not only change their lives, but personally transform them as a human being and transform their businesses from that space of physical, environmental transformation. It is incredibly powerful work. In fact, I've always warned my friends and clients about this. If you change something in your space, be ready for something to change in your life because it absolutely will. So I feel very passionately about that, clearly. And the trauma-informed design is extremely important because, again, it's one of the biggest things that's blocking us from success in our day-to-day life, but certainly in our businesses and our careers, our relationships, and really anything that we touch. Okay, so when it comes to my soul sanctuary process, and again, if you're very interested in this, maybe you've been following me for a while and are like, yeah, I'm in. I know your work, Katie, love it. And I've been looking for an opportunity to work with you on something like this. I will get to that at the end. But for now, let's just go over briefly what the process is. Phase 1 is about awakening your space. So we're going to look in depth at your space. We're going to audit what feels stuck, cluttered, draining, and just not a fit. We're going to, in the process of that, uncover emotional, sensory, and functional needs. These are all really important. It's not just about how something looks. It is very much tied into your identity as a person. And if you're pursuing this as a business owner, as your identity as a business owner. We're then going to map nervous system triggers and clarify your desired transformation so that we can, in the future, again, you work with me, design your space, co-design, co-create that space to match who you desire to become through that space. Okay, phase 2, we're going to repattern and release. So this is about clearing physical and energetic blockages. We're going to co-create a visual and energetic map of your ideal space, right? So this is conceptual. And if you're at all familiar with the design process, from an interior design perspective, architectural perspective, and again, I have an interior design background for many years. We go through a specific process, and it starts with a conceptual and it drills down to the details. So this is kind of similar to that, but we're also including, you know, some specific things that apply to personal development as well. So we're going to go there. This will be about balancing aesthetics and your needs for all the different things that we just talked about a second ago here. Okay. Balancing those aesthetics and those needs with safety, with code, with those things you might need to be, you know, keep in mind as you design in your home or your workspace. Okay, phase 3, activating flow. We're going to align routines and cyclical productivity with your transform space. We're going to reduce resistance, increase flow that way, and integrate lifestyle with environment. This is about taking your environment, taking your lifestyle, and making sure those match so that those can integrate and support you, both of those things at the same time, consistently, to help you on your trajectory, on your growth. That integration is very important, and there's a lot to consider there. All the overlaps and complexities with how you want to live your life and how you want your space to support that. There's a lot of details, a lot of nuance, and we will go through that in detail. This is also, oh, okay, I think I left a paragraph out of this because this is where we design your space. Woo! It's like kind of a big detail. My apologies, this is not, I must have deleted it by accident. But anyway, the second part of phase 4 is, oh my God, I deleted the whole slide. No wonder. Okay, so phase 4, even though it is not on a slide here, phase 4 is about designing your space. So it's taken everything that we've worked through so far, all the personal development stuff, all the considerations, all the conceptual, all the design, and saying, okay, how are we going to lay this thing down? What are the physical attributes of your space, right? And clocking which of those I'm going through. Okay, this is going to be this, it's going to be placed here. How is this going to support X, Y, Z thing that we've already talked about? Okay, so we can confirm and validate the selections of what you have, what you're putting in your space. Again, this is co-created. I'm happy to do drawings for you. I'm happy to support you with selections. I'm happy to validate selections. This will depend on how involved you would like to be, but it is done with you. This is not me going out and picking all the things and doing all the layouts, and it's just all me. I expect that the person that I'm working with to be very involved, and that this is a true co-creation. I'm happy to teach you. I'm happy to do drawings with you. I'm happy to co-select with you, but I find the most effective people are those who are very involved, very interested in the process, and who really want to learn. So this truly is done with you. And so that design component, phase 4, again, not what we're looking at right now. The slide is missing, sorry, but phase 4 is a very important piece of this, and that is the design component. Phase 5, sustain and expand. So let's establish rituals and systems that keep your sanctuary aligned. You are going to grow and change. And so once that starts happening, you're going to want your space to keep evolving with the person that you want to keep becoming. And you're going to want to have at least some idea of how to keep this going, how to keep this trajectory keeping up. And in order to do that, we'll discuss your long-term sustainability plan. What do you see in your near term, your long term? What can you do in the midst of all of that? So phase 5, sustain and expand, has the potential to actually be the most consequential phase throughout all of this, because what we're creating when we design together is a snapshot of where you are and where you want to be and getting those to come together. Phase 5 is looking down the road and saying, okay, well, guess what? I've got some tools now. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. And also understanding I'm going to change. My business is going to change. My life is going to change. My lifestyle is going to change. I might move. I might recreate this. I might have retreats where I do this in multiple places. How do I make sure that my space is keeping up with my growth? How do we make sure that we can sustain it? And so that is what phase 5 is. And again, I think each one of these is absolutely critical, especially phase 4, which I'm sorry again, but I can't believe I did that. It's just goofy. That's a goofy thing. But all 5 of those things are incredibly consequential. But again, I think phase 5 is probably the most, because it is where you continue to take yourself throughout this space journey. So the results of a sanctuary that reflects your soul and supports your business, supports your goals, supports your life. You feel safe, inspired, and aligned, and your clients feel it too. So you feel safe, you feel aligned, your clients feel amazing in your space, whether it's virtual too, or whether it's in person, whatever type of business it is that you run, it really becomes this welcoming, like, this is who she is. Oh, I feel good in here. I can't put my finger on it, but this just feels awesome. That's the kind of result we're going for with this work. And of course, it's very reflective of your soul, supports your business, supports your growth, and who you're becoming. Becoming is definitely a word that I will use throughout this process. So I'm going to put this link down in the comments, but if you're ready to birth or bring to life your soul sanctuary, I would invite you to book a 45-minute soul sanctuary space audit. Try saying that 10 times fast. Soul sanctuary space audit. I have a link to that in the comments. And if you just have a question, feel free to reach out. I can be reached at info@kdt.com. And I look forward to connecting with you, whether it's to answer a quick question, to collaborate on something cool, because I'm open to those types of things as well, depending, or to work with you. 45-minute soul sanctuary space audit. It'd be amazing. I look forward to working with you. I'm going to leave you with this, because I know that personal development tends to bring a lot for us, especially when we come to nervous system triggers and whatnot. And I think it's always important to circle back to, you are doing great where you are right now, and to love yourself where you're at. So I love this quote from Francis de Sales: "Believe in the magic of the season, bloom where you are planted." So this is about blooming where you are. This is about growing from where you are, and giving yourself the grace of knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, and you're doing a great job. So I want to leave you with that. And with that, thanks for joining for this quick presentation. If you are interested in learning more about what I do, but aren't quite ready for the program that I just mentioned, then subscribe, follow me, and look forward to hearing more tips, tricks, inspiration too, on how you can create your own soul sanctuary. I look forward to seeing you there.